It's back to school time and families everywhere are running to stores and online for those much needed items. With inflation at 40-year highs, families are expected to spend an average of $864 on school supplies, which is $15 more than last year. Well, joining us now to discuss this is Brett Rose, United National Consumer Suppliers CEO. His company is a supplier for discount retailers. Brett, thank you for joining us today. So, obviously, we're talking about some of these discount retailers. What does this mean in terms of brand loyalty for companies? Are people just trying to get the best deal no matter what?
Thank you for having me back. I think consumers are absolutely trying to get the best deal. I think brand loyalty on stationary items is sort of out the door. Customers have become brand agnostic, as ultimately all we as parents and as consumers are trying to do is save a penny where we can, bring the 864 down and spend less than we did last year, given the current economic climate and inflation.
If there's one likely place where you're trading down, where is it?
Yeah, it's interesting, Dave. I think people are sticking to stuff that makes their kids feel good, right? We're not trading down backpacks. We're not trading down lunch bags or boxes. We're trading down the things that maybe the ancillary items that people don't see. We're giving our kids the same pens as last year. We're reusing the crayons, the colored pencils. I have a 9 and 11-year-old, so I feel like I've got it from all sides. We're supplying the stores. I've got kids that want to save want to have new product. The fashion back to school items are where we are not cutting corners. Everything else, it's sort of no holds barred.
Brett, what about the trend of people buying earlier this year versus waiting until now at the end of August? What do you attribute that to?
Absolutely. I think we have smarter consumers, right? We sort of have to spread the money out, where when we were kids, it was a one-stop shop. Mom and dad would bring you to one location. You'd get everything and you'd be done. Now I think we saw back to school numbers up 35% in June and July, where typically August, those of us here in the South, school's already started. So it would generally start beginning of August. Now we saw it beginning of June. So mom's in the store, dad's in the store, he buys the pack of pencils, he buys the notebook, sort of spreads it out. And rather than buying it at one store, it's wherever it's on sale or wherever it's available, when the discretionary income is available, they bought it. Sort of buy it and put it away.
And Brett, it used to be that you could almost get these sort of bundles that had everything, the paper, the pencils, everything in one big chunk. But is that always the best way to get the best savings? What's the best strategy to use?
No, the best strategy right now is shop early and shop wide. I also think discount retailers that maybe in the past you may not have looked at, look at Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Family Dollar, even at Marshall's and TJ Maxx. You can find everything you want. Those 5-6 stores alone right there, big brands, off price, you're taking advantage of the fact that it happens to be available. So maybe July 3rd, you're shopping and you find a backpack, grab it.
Are there new retailers that come into play because of inflation?
Yeah, I think current retailers expanded. So great example, Five Below. You used to buy office supplies or anything for the tween market, price of $5 or below. Now you can find $10 or $15. So maybe traditionally a scientific calculator or a higher end backpack that couldn't be priced at $5, it can be priced at $15. It's still a great deal to the consumer. So all of a sudden, you have companies like Five Below and Dollar Tree who have raised their ceiling of what they're selling things for. And it's a phenomenal opportunity for consumers because those stores are just great.
Brett, what about the supply chain issues that we've covered so closely within the retail sector? Certainly seems like the worst of it is behind us. Are we, though, facing any headwinds here as we are clearly in this critical back-to-school shopping season, but also looking ahead to the holiday season?
So I actually think the holidays is interesting. Back to school, there's still a challenge for retailers. It's going to cannibalize a little bit of their margin. I think it's going to be false inflationary reduction for Q4 because there's a lot of retailers, as we saw with recent earning calls, that are very heavy on inventory. So what is that going to do? It's going to drive the prices down in Q4. But when they go to replace it in Q1, because remember, they're buying 6 months ahead of time, that's the merchandise that's costing them more money. So I actually think everything we look at number-wise and index-wise, it's going to be a strong Q4 for consumers, but they have to start early.
So, Brett, what tend to be some of the highest ticket items and what can people really do? Because $15 difference doesn't sound like much, but when you have to factor in the cost of gas and everything else, that's a lot. That's a strain for people.
I think every penny counts this year more so than ever. When you've got people that would buy a 50-cent pack of crayons instead of spending the $1.50 or the $1.80 for Crayola, it's brand agnostic. Every penny counts right now, especially for U.S. households. with multiple kids, we don't have the stimulus money that we had last year. We don't have the discretionary income because people are going out again. So it's making a big difference. I think every dollar is going to count more so than ever.
Brett Rose, United National Consumer Suppliers CEO. Thanks so much for joining us.